My HAMFEST loop antenna. So far, not much better than a dummy load. I think we can improve it. Let's see. First, the good. The builder did a great job of enclosing this gigundous capacitor, which I've already been able to put 100 watts through without any problem. He also has the spacing, the ratio between the big loop and the little loop is just about perfect. I measured it, and he came up with a really clever way of adjusting the tuning, make the fine tuning easier. Now for the bad. That screw is at potential. You get your hand on that and you could get hurt pretty bad. That's number one. Number two, I'm not sure that this spacing isn't too far away for the loop. I think you could probably get a lot closer than that and get better coupling. But the real initial problem I found, you can get well over a kilovolt down here of RF. And he doesn't have a soldered or a good connection of any kind. He's just got a hole drilled through the copper here. And this all thread coming through. Now on this side, he did a better job. It's got a nice tight mechanical connection. But then the wire connection ends up going to this clip lead. This clip lead just hooks onto the, I think the stator. So the first thing I have to do is improve on those connections and see what happens. So far, this thing is totally ignored by the reverse beacon network. I did manage to get a very poor report from a POTUS station in New York State, like 2-3. Appreciate the honest reception report, by the way. It's a nice change from the 5959 baloney. Anyway, we're going to fix these connections and see what happens after that. All right, as you can see, I had to take the capacitor box completely off to work on this joint. It also involved the use of a hacksaw and so forth. But I thought you might be interested in the size of this capacitor. Pardon my thumb. Rotate this for you. It's a butterfly, of course. And if we come over here and look down on it, you can see the size of it. Measuring it through the plexiglass case, the stator plates are 7/16 apart, and the butterfly rotor is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm sorry, that's the stator plates. They're 17/16 apart. The plates themselves are roughly 2 1/4 by 4 inches to the rod that they're attached to. And the butterfly size is the same, except they're, if you can see this, and you probably, yeah, they're kind of domed. They're cut off at a dome for some reason. I'm sure whoever manufactured this had a specific reason for doing that. If anybody has any idea where this thing came from, I'd really be interested. Put it in the comments. What kind of unit this thing would have come out of. I've never seen one this big in my life. Not that I've been around big capacitors that much, but anyway, I thought that might interest. Okay, the loop's back together with the changes. Let's see, we'll start at the top. I closed this gap between the pickup loop and the large loop from about 1.25 inches to, I don't know, 1/4 inch, let's say. Coming down here, I think the biggest improvement probably was on this connection, which is now a good solid connection with the addition of this stuff, which is a copper infused, I don't know, paste, I guess you'd say, and improves the contact. Likewise over here, I replaced the wire with a solid connection on both ends, and the point is it made a huge difference, and I'll show you what that is right now. Okay, this morning on 20 meters and about 19 minutes of effort, these are the pickups I got from the reverse beacon network, and I did notice that if I move the antenna 30 degrees one way or another, it increased my pickup to the northeast. And when I moved it back the other way, I picked up the station in Texas. Well, I just discovered something. By sheer accident, this thing's been working because this connection is slipping. I didn't realize. That's why I had the clip lead on there. It keeps going out of focus. But there were no brushes. I just assumed that where I was making that connection was solid. But it's not. It's the whole shaft rotates for the butterfly. So I accidentally got by with that because I had used the copper paste, and I basically made a brush by accident, because after I turned it a certain distance, it started loosening up itself. It works that way, probably losing some efficiency, and also this piece of wire acts more or less like a small resistance in the loop, but I don't see any other way to do it right now. So I'll have to live with that. Okay, I did try the loop outside several evenings ago. It didn't seem to work at all. I'm sure that was propagation. This thing seems to be much more dependent on good propagation compared to my half-wave end-fed. But overall, it doesn't work as well as the end-fed half-wave, which I'm amazed it works at all inside, I guess. I failed to mention before, I have no foil insulation in my attic, so I'm probably getting some propagation out through the RC airplane and out through the attic that way, and also this way. So that's where I'm at with it right now. I hope this was informative and interesting for some of you, and I'm going to take this thing out on a POTA activation and see what I can do with it that way, and if it's interesting, I'll make another video. So with that, I'll say 73.